It's Izzles, aka the Artless Inker. Welcome back to another video, guys. And today we're going to be doing a character drawing, but we're going to be doing it using the palette challenge that I did earlier on my channel. I did a traditional drawing using this concept of using a specific palette, and that's what we're going to be doing today. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the process and the character that we come up with. Alright, let's go ahead and get right into the video. Alright guys, welcome to the palette challenge. This is going to be the second one on my channel that I've done so far. I actually have a whole big ass list of palettes in an app called Pigments that I plan to make future videos for all those palettes hopefully one day. But yeah, so the palette we're going to be working with today in this limited palette challenge, and to kind of give you some background for anybody who's not familiar, limited palette challenge is pretty much, you know, you use a certain amount of colors within the drawing, and you know, you're locked into those sets of colors and within the palette. So this is something that's commonly used, and especially in like old school video games, where like maybe the color hardware of that system can only, you know, use a certain amount of colors. So, you know, they had to get kind of like unique with how they conveyed objects with that limited color palette. So that's something that I always like thought was cool about certain like old school games. So I try to like take that concept and put it into my artwork. And that limited palette challenge thing has been kind of like helping me with that. And that's also just understanding how, you know, different colors, how they interact when they're next to each other. You know, because it can give off different perceptions depending on like if you put a certain color next to each other. So my thought process for this palette was when I generated it, I was like, okay, this looks like it'd be some type of aquatic creature. So I named the palette, and I name all the palettes when I create them. I just make up a random name for them, and that name kind of actually serves for the basis a lot of times, for like you know, the subject or what I'll be drawing. So I named the palette Bubbly Turtle. So, and I guess I got the idea because when I was looking at the colors, it made me think of Squirtle from Pokemon. Squirtle is my favorite Pokemon, by the way, just FYI. But yeah, I was like, Bubbly Turtle, I think of Squirtle. And then I'm like, okay, I want to make some type of turtle character, and it'd be cool if he like used pretty much like bubbles as a weapon or power. So that was kind of my thought process and like initial idea of this guy. And so yeah, talking a little bit more about the concepts of him. I knew I wanted him to use bubbles in some way, but instead of making it like exactly like Squirtle, where like he like shoots water or something, like he just can shoot water out of his like mouth and whatnot, I'm just like, let me try to get a little bit more creative with it. So I was like, what if he used like a weapon or like a sword, some type of like, you know, weapon that he could use in combat. And I thought of like having like this bubble sword. So like his sword is like a bubble wand essentially, and he can like create like different types of bubbles. He can encase people inside of them, like so that was my idea for his weapon and whatnot. And he has like the sheath of the bubble sword, as you can see there, is like the little tube that the bubble wands come with that holds like all the soap and stuff inside. So like that was my concept for his little sheath and backpack for his sword. I also decorated with like little turtle accessories. Like if you look at the like hilt of his blade, it's got like it's like the shape of like a turtle shell, and then you can see like little legs of the turtle coming out with a little head there. So yeah, as you can see here, a tactic I use in my art a lot is I will use like the flat color, and I'll basically make like a rim light, so it adds almost like a highlight without having to sacrifice a whole extra new color. So I like that little tip there. And then I also use, of course I will use like an actual highlight color, and I decided to go with like that bright green. It just made the most sense, and it still works, like because the colors are, of course, it's like it's a palette's, you know, the colors have harmony, so they should work together. So even having that light green as the highlight against the like teal of his actual like skin color, it didn't really ruin it. It kind of still like makes sense and, you know, conveys that feeling of light. So yep, just working on his shell here. Yeah, and this guy, he reminds me of a lot of different turtle characters. Like, I look at him, I think of Squirtle, obviously. That was kind of one of the main inspirations, and then like a Ninja Turtle. Ninja Turtles come to mind, just like his pose and whatnot. And then also just the Koopa Troopers from Mario. So a lot of turtle inspiration here. So yeah, like I like doing things like this, just like coming up with characters or some type of concept, but like basing it off of some random object or, you know, just some random topic. So like just having a whole palette of colors and then trying to figure out what can I make, whether it be like a scene, a character, and like a location off of like what I named it at that time. And I don't really think too much about the names when I like make the palettes in the app. I literally just generate the palette, I like make something look nice, and I'm just like, okay, let's come up with like a random name. Like looking at this palette, what's the first idea or like phrase you think of? And yeah, for this one, I was like, bubbly turtle. This looks like the color palette for a bubbly turtle. So that's what we got here. But yeah, just adding some more color here to him. I really like this guy. I don't have a name for him yet. Honestly, I don't wanna go too cliche, like some type of like water, like something relating to water, like I don't know, Splasher or something. Like, I don't know, Splasher's kind of corny. Let's forget I even said that. But yeah, I haven't come up with a name for him yet, but hopefully I do. I think he's really cool. I really liked how he came out. I like his cap. I also like he has like a little horn almost like that comes out of his head. So I thought that was cool, because I was like, you know, turtles have scales and stuff, and I was like, I could add like some flair to him, give him like some spikes or something, but I'm like, spikes down his back, and I want him to wear a hat, so I'm like, maybe just one singular spike at the top. And then last but not least, we're gonna go into getting his like little bubble effect. I went with that like almost like teal green, like a seafoam green kind of color. That's a part of the palette for the bubbles. And then I'll like, for the shadows, I'll probably use like a different color, like a blue, like one of the blues to give it some shadows. But yeah, just adding in the flats here for the bubbles. And I haven't really thought too much about like his bubble abilities. Like, of course he would be able to like create like walls of bubbles, and they would be able to distract opponents, and maybe he could add like, they could almost be like also like mimes in a way, like a mine where like he puts water, or like he encases a whole bunch of water, like explosive water inside the bubble, and then he can like detonate them, or people like pop them by accident, and this creates this giant like water explosion. So like just devastating like attacks like that, because you think like he has a bubble wand as a sword, you're like, this, you're no threat. But it'd be cool if he actually has some cool powers and techniques that he could use. But yeah, just adding the shines and stuff here. As you can see, I used that cyan like blue for the shadows here. And yeah, he turned out amazing. I love him. And that was Bubbly Turtle. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today on this video. I really appreciate it. And there was a few things I forgot to mention in the video. The palette challenge, if you noticed, in the video I show you the actual palette, but that it was generated, but then you see in the actual drawing there's like a side of the palette that shows some more colors, like some darker shades, and I basically just do that to have some shading colors. So I guess that's kind of like my own variation of a palette challenge, because that's not the colors that were originally generated. I just hue shift them and make some extra shades, but that's besides the point. Just wanted to clarify that. I also use the background color as an extra color, if that makes sense. But regardless, we were able to make the Bubbly Turtle. He has yet to have a name, but don't worry, we'll name him in future video. He'll definitely pop up again. But yeah, I just want to let you guys know, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, as you know, it really helps my channel. If you really loved it, you know, maybe even consider subscribing as well. It's free, and you know, it would make me feel so happy inside. But yeah, also share the video with anybody who you feel would resonate with my content as well. All these things I truly appreciate, and I appreciate you. You are a real one. If you stay to the end, trust and believe, it means a lot to me. But yeah, as always, my friends, let's keep inking our stories together, and I'll see you on the next page. Peace.